3 Bible verses that terrify Satan. The Bible is more than a collection of ancient texts. It's a living, powerful word that shapes spiritual realities. It holds promises and declarations that equip believers to stand firm against the enemy. Satan knows this all too well, which is why certain verses terrify him. These scriptures declare God's authority, power, and ultimate victory over evil. Here are 3 Bible verses that send shockwaves through the enemy's camp. Number 1. Genesis 3:15, the Proto-Evangelium. And I will put enmity between you and the woman, and between your offspring and hers. He will crush your head, and you will strike his heel. This verse is known as the Proto-Evangelium, or the First Gospel. Spoken by God after the fall of Adam and Eve, it prophesies the coming of Jesus Christ, who would ultimately defeat Satan. The phrase, "He will crush your head," signifies a fatal blow to Satan's dominion through Christ's death and resurrection. The enemy trembles at this verse because it seals his destiny. Every time believers proclaim this promise, they remind Satan of his inevitable defeat. Number 2. Colossians 2:15, victory through the cross. And having disarmed the powers and authorities, he made a public spectacle of them, triumphing over them by the cross. This verse highlights the power of Christ's sacrifice. Through his death and resurrection, Jesus stripped Satan and his demonic forces of their authority. The imagery of making a public spectacle portrays total humiliation and defeat. Satan's weapons, accusation, sin, and death, were rendered powerless at the cross. When believers declare this truth, they remind the enemy that he has no hold over them. Number 3. Revelation 20:10, the final judgment. And the devil, who deceived them, was thrown into the lake of burning sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet had been thrown. They will be tormented day and night forever and ever. This verse describes Satan's ultimate fate, eternal torment. No matter how much havoc he wreaks now, his time is limited, and his end is certain. Revelation 20:10 is a stark reminder of God's justice. The verse terrifies Satan because it reveals his inescapable doom. For believers, it's a promise that evil will not have the final word, and the devil, who deceived them, was thrown into the lake of burning sulfur, where the beast and the false prophet had been thrown. They will be tormented day and night forever and ever. Revelation 20:10 paints a vivid picture of the ultimate defeat of evil. It describes the final judgment of Satan, the great deceiver, and unveils the eternal justice of God. Let's explore the profound significance of this verse and what it means for believers today. This verse declares the ultimate destiny of Satan, eternal torment in the lake of burning sulfur. For all his efforts to lead humanity astray, his reign of terror has an expiration date. His cunning deceptions and relentless attacks may cause suffering in the present, but Revelation 20 verse 10 assures us that his power is temporary and his end is certain. This vivid imagery reflects God's absolute justice. The devil, along with the beast and the false prophet, will face eternal punishment. Their actions, rooted in rebellion against God, lead to their unending torment. This passage reveals the irrevocable nature of God's judgment for those who oppose him. Revelation 20:10 serves as a stark reminder of God's perfect justice. Evil will not go unpunished, and those who perpetuate wickedness will face consequences. For centuries, Satan has been the embodiment of deception and destruction. But this verse assures believers that God will bring about a righteous conclusion. Justice will prevail, and evil will be eradicated forever. While the imagery in this verse is terrifying, it carries a comforting promise for followers of Christ. It reminds us that evil will not have the final word. No matter how dark the world may seem, we can hold fast to the truth that God's victory is assured. Satan's downfall is already written, and his influence will be no more. For believers, this is a call to persevere in faith. The trials and tribulations of life are temporary, but God's kingdom is eternal. Revelation 20:10 assures us that the spiritual battles we face are not in vain. Our hope is secure in the victory of Christ, who will ultimately vanquish all evil. This verse challenges us to live with an eternal perspective. Knowing that God's justice will prevail should inspire us to remain steadfast in our faith and resist the schemes of the enemy. It's also a call to share the gospel with others, offering the hope of salvation to those who are lost. Revelation 20:10 is a sobering reminder of the reality of judgment, but also a beacon of hope. As believers, we can find peace in knowing that God's plan is perfect and His victory is guaranteed. Evil will not triumph, Satan's fate is sealed, and God's justice will reign forever. These verses reveal the power and authority of God over the forces of darkness. They remind believers that Satan's power is limited and that his defeat is assured. As we meditate on these scriptures, we align ourselves with God's truth and walk in the victory Christ has already won. So declare these verses boldly and live in the freedom they proclaim.